y'all, it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be doing our full review over the Melt and Beetlejuice collection. Now this collection is huge. There's 2 eyeshadow palettes, 3 electric paints, 3 bullet lipsticks, 3 eyeliners, a set of 5 brushes with a brush roll, mascara, a eyelash curler, and a handheld mirror. So this collection's big, so I wanted to do it justice, and I've already recorded first impressions on both of these palettes, but today is going to be more of like a full-blown review and telling you what I think about everything. So if you want to see how I got this look, stay tuned. So we're gonna play with the Waiting Room palette today, and I'm excited to play with this because, you know, whenever you're spending this kind of money on a palette, I know that you want to see more than one look with it. So what I think I'm gonna do is today, since the last look I really kind of steered more towards the burgundies, is kind of play more with the gray side. So I'm gonna pick up Sandworm, which is this really pale gray shade, and this is my BK Beauty 201 brush. I love the BK Beauty brushes. The Melt brushes that I got are super cute. They're just not my favorite to work with, you know, but everybody's got their own taste. And I think using your favorite tools with a palette also helps you get a better understanding of it. You know what I mean? So as you can see, I'm just taking and placing Sandworm everywhere. Literally all over. Because we want this to be a really cool toned gray look. So next up, I'm gonna grab a BK Beauty 202. Which is more of that pointed shader brush. So that kind of helps you get more into your crease. So I'm gonna go in with Shrunken Head, which is the next color in the gradient. And we're just going to work on, and as you can see, Melt has no problem with pigmentation, none whatsoever. And on my last video, by the time I was working with this palette, because I was having such a cruddy day, you know, I want to play with it again. Y'all know what it's like. So I'm just building that up into the crease all over. Now I do look like I have a black eye now. It's okay though. But yeah, just kind of building that up. Blending out beautifully, which is something I always look for. And one of the things, if you do have issues with it blending, just take your normal shader brush, whatever you like to use, and see how I'm just kind of going over the edge. That really fluffs it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in Shrunken Head again on the other eye. But I love cool tone eyeshadows. I mean, let's face it, the look I'm going to do today is something 17-year-old Betsy would do whenever, you know, going to Numbers. There's a club in Houston called Numbers, and on Thursday nights, it was an all ages club. Like, you'd get an X put on your hand if you were too young. And on Thursday nights, I think it was, because it's been, you know, 20 years since I've been, they did an all ages, and it was goth night, 80s goth night. So they would play like Billy Idol and all that kind of stuff, and we would go out and hang out there. And this is definitely a look that young Miss Betsy would wear to Numbers, with black eyeliner as lip liner. I had this Wet n Wild red shade that when it mixed with the black, it kind of became like a burgundy. You know, I thought I was something. I thought I was hot stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of more about me. So I'm gonna grab the BK Beauty 206 brush, which is still a domed little fluffy brush, but it is nice and dense. So this shape, and as you can see, it's a little wider than some of the ones that are domed and dense. We're gonna go into the shade Tombstone, which is this shade right here. And we're going to really build that up into the crease. Very, very much so. But yeah, this is something I would do. We used to have so much fun doing that kind of thing. Then there's King Kids and all that, and you know, I joke because I was like the weird goth kid, because like my friends and stuff are like full on goth, but for me, I never got the fact of like doing the kind of pale skin whole scenario, you know what I mean? I mean, as you can see, I am a true medium skin tone. I tan easily and I love the sun. It's amazing that I haven't like completely and utterly ruined my skin. So I'm just taking Tombstone and kind of stamping it in just to kind of build that up. But now I'm religious about wearing sunscreen. Like, I wear it every single day. That's why my arms are like 20,000 shades darker than my face, because I do like to go on walks every morning with Cameron, and when we do that, you know, even though I put on sunscreen, my arms will still get a little bit darker. And it's such a gradual thing every day that, you know, it is what it is. So next I'm going to take, this is a BK Beauty 203. So as you can see, it's still the same shape of brush as the 206, but it's smaller. The bristles are much shorter, and it's a little bit denser. So it's a little, you see how that's a little flimsier than the 203. And we're going to go into the shade Charman, which is the black. And I want to kind of use this a little sparingly, because, you know, it's black. And Melt does like the best pigmentation. So I'm really liking how this is performing. Now I just need to decide if I want to do a red shimmer on the lid or something different. All that thought, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab one of the eyeliners. We're gonna try something that I've never done before. I'm gonna use the Melt Utterly Alone pigment paint, which is kind of an eyeliner. And we're gonna use that all over the lid. Cause I want, it's like this would be kind of cool. And I don't use liquid eyeliners. I'm so bad with them. Okay, so I like how that looks. I'm gonna grab one of my ColourPop brushes. This is a Duo Fiber at E13, just to kind of go over and soften the edge. Kind of blend it out a little bit, make it a little bit more messy. I like that. I like that a whole lot. Whole lot. Gonna do the same thing on this side. And the pot eyeliners like this from Melt are really good. They work really well in your waterline as well, if you're wondering. Okay. Oh, that looks cool. Yes, now we're definitely going into true goth fantasy. I wiped off my brush on just a wet makeup wipe. Wet makeup wipe, they're all wet. You wouldn't use a dry one, would you? Probably not. Now you got me talking to myself. Wait, that's what I do for a living. I joke. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my BK Beauty 201 and really kind of go over and make sure everything's nice and soft. Okay, loving that. And then I pulled out earlier, this is the Stila Perlina liquid eyeshadow, like glitter and glow. And we're just gonna take and pat that all over that purple to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm gonna take my finger and kind of blend it in even more. That looks cool. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off camera and do my rest of my face, and then we'll come back and do the lower lash line. Okie dokie. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used for bronzer my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I used the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism blush palette, and I used Spacey. That's one of my favorite shades of blush. And then for highlighter, I used the Morning Star highlighter by Melt. And I did put a little bit of the highlighter underneath my brow bone as well. For lips, I used the Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in Deep Void, so it's like a really deep purple. And then I used the Melt Calypso lipstick. So see, it still has that pinky purple tint to it, but it made it just a little bit deeper and sexier because I didn't want to go full on black today. And then I used the ColourPop BFF Gel Cream Eyeliner in black. Swerve's not black, Swerve, in my waterline. So we're gonna go ahead and finish off this look, and I am excited to do that. So I'm gonna grab, this is the 203 that I used earlier. Gonna make sure that's nice and dusted off because I don't want black eyeshadow everywhere. And I dipped it into the shade Charman, which is the black. And I'm just lightly putting that under my lower lash line, okay? Now I'm gonna grab my big 201 brush that I used earlier with nothing else added to it, just to go in and really smoke that out. Really, really smoke it out. Okay, grab my beauty sponge to make sure I didn't get any fluff. Y'all know how it goes. And then where is my pencil brush? Okay, now I'm gonna grab, this is the BK Beauty 207, the pencil brush. I'm gonna go into the silver shade Juno right here. Gonna pick some of that up, hopefully. This is a chunkier formula. This shade, shimmer shade, it's pretty. It is definitely not my favorite shimmer formula from Melt. So I wetted that, wetted or wet? I have to check my English. Okay, and we're gonna use that in the inner corner. I guess people think today is drag strip on my business street. Who knows? Okay, let's dust away any fallout. There we go. Now I want to add some lower lash line mascara. Wherever my mascara is. Here is the Melt mascara. This mascara isn't my favorite. I know some people really liked it. It's not my favorite formula, but it does work well as a lower lash line mascara. I did use my Eyeliners Accent number 5s on top. So, what do you think of this look? It's very dark, vampy, sexy. I really like how it came out. So, my bronzer brush. My bronzer looks a little heavy. That's better. Okay, so hairs in my mouth. Okay, so what do you think of this look? I think it's very pretty, sexy, you know, kind of grungy look. So we'll come back and we'll do another look tomorrow. So as you can see, I have my eyes primed for today's look. I'm taking and using my e.l.f. eye tapes just like normal. Y'all know. You know if you know. So that way I have nice clean eye lines. So we're going to be using the Milk Cosmetics Recently Deceased palette today because I'm trying to use it several times. So that way I can give you like a full review over it. So what I think I want to do is go in first with Beetlejuice, which is more of that limey green right here. Because like, I want to stick to something really monochromatic and green, I think, today. So I'm using the BK Beauty 201 brush. Isn't that pretty? And we're just gonna kind of build the shade up on the eyelid. Because I want more of that swampy kind of green look, you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. But yeah, I want to keep this really green today. I don't think I'm going to mix in any of the purples. But we'll see. We'll see what I feel like once it's done. I mean, there's only 8 shades in here. So this will probably be the last look I do with this one before review. Unless I do my next look, I mix both palettes. Which is a good possibility. But see how pretty that pigmentation is? And it does... When you put it on the eye, and I'm using the Gerard Clean Canvas eye base, it does pull very true to color, which I enjoy. But yeah, see how nice that just blends out? I can already tell you out of the 2 palettes, this one's probably my favorite because, well, I love green eyeshadow and I love purple eyeshadow. So mixing the 2 together is my favorite, but I wish they would have made this a 10-pan palette and added a little bit more, like a deep grungy green in here. Okay. So now I'm gonna grab, this is the BK Beauty 202 brush. This is one of my favorites for kind of deepening up a crease. I'm gonna go into that shade Draw Door, which is more of that yellowy shade, but I'm wondering if I can use it, yes. See, we're grunging out this look. See how easy that did it? Okay, so you can see where Draw Door grunged it out quite a bit. And that is a beautiful color. It's like a mustardy lime almost, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I'm just kind of keeping that on the outside and in the crease. Because this is something I personally like to do. There we go. Just keep building, just keep building. I cannot sing to save my life. Now I'm going back into the 201 that I used originally. Just going over everything, making sure it's all nice and blended and smooth. Because that is something I do like. I like a really good blend on the eye. Look how pretty that looks. Okay. So next up, I think I'm gonna take, yeesh, don't get eyeshadow on my boob. This is the BK Beauty 203. So as you can see, it's a dense brush. I love using these BK Beauty brushes. They're my favorite for most eyeshadows. My two favorite brands of brushes at the moment are the BK Beauty and the Refer brushes. But I really like how the BK Beauty perform, especially for being, and I'm using the shade Paranormal, which is that dark green shimmer right here. And we're just applying that ever so slightly on the outer V. Because like I've said before, I have no issue using a shimmer in the crease if need be. Now I'm just gonna go over and make sure it's nice and blended. There we go. Okay, since we only have 4 green shades to work with, I think I'm gonna use, I pulled out my Natasha Denona Scarab Liquid Shadow because I have the Trio Chrome palette, but I prefer how the liquid shadows perform. So I'm gonna use this all over my lid. Isn't that pretty? And that really brings the look to life because I'm gonna use the other green shade in my inner corner, the Neurotic shade. So I needed something that would go with it on the lid. And this Scarab shade is probably my favorite liquid multi-chrome from Natasha Denona that I own. I have all 5 of hers. They're expensive. But the Scarab shade is probably my favorite out of the ones that I have. Okie dokie. I look pretty. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna grab the Paranormal shade right here and just kind of tap it over the edge. See how that makes it look like it's got a good blend? Blending the edge of the liquid multi-chrome into the shadow. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And you can really see the shift in this look. Or at least I think you can. Okay. Oh yeah. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is go off camera, do the rest of my face, and then we'll come back and do the lower lash line. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used my Gucci bronzer in number 2 today, the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow for my highlight, and then I used the Queen Bee Royal Blush Duo by Melt. I used the Afterlife, this in my waterline. So we're gonna go ahead and finish out this eye look because Mama wants to get it finished. Okay, so I'm gonna take the, first the BK Beauty 203 brush, make sure it's nice and cleaned off, and I'm gonna go into that shade Paranormal, which is that dark green shimmer. And I'm just dusting that under my lower lash line. Cause y'all know, I love a good dark eye. Okay, this is the BK Beauty 201. Nothing on it new. If I can make sure not to poke myself in the eye with my own hair. And blend that out. Very, very easy to do. And I am wearing false lashes. I am wearing the Eyeliners Accent 005 lashes. And then, oh, I forgot to tell you, on my lips is the Miss Argentina shade. Just a beautiful matte red lipstick. It doesn't have a whole lot of transfer with it either. Okay, take the Melt Mascara. Coat my lower lash line. There we go. And I think I have used the collection enough to kind of give you my thoughts and opinions on it. So I'm grabbing, this is the BK Beauty, what brush is this? The 207, the pencil brush, and using the shade Neurotic in my inner corner, that limey green shimmer. So let's go ahead and talk about the collection as a whole, because I think it is stunning. Now, there are pieces that I like a whole lot more than others. So we're gonna talk about that and kind of go over my thoughts. So first off, the brushes and the brush roll and the mirror. I don't have the mirror over here with me or the brush roll because they're in the PR box I just put up, but the brushes. I'm super happy that I have this because I do love the bag that it came in, and these 3 brushes I really liked. These 2, not my favorite. I mean, this is soft, but I just prefer the shape of the BK Beauty 101. You see how it's more rounded? And the brushes on this are softer, the bristles on it. So I'm super happy that I have it because I love Beetlejuice and I love the little bag that came with it. But $80 for 5 brushes seems a bit high, but when you see the bag that comes with it, that's where I think it's worth it to myself personally. So I'm glad I own it. The mirror is super cute, so I'm super glad that I bought the PR bundle. The Melt mascara, still definitely not my favorite, but I do love the Beetlejuice eyelash curler. I think it's super duper cute. It's super dirty right now, but I needed a new eyelash curler. But the packaging is 10 out of 10. I just think it's a little high, but mascaras are one of those things that it is very personal. I know a lot of people whose reviews I've watched have loved this. It's just not what I like for my eyes. Okay, now let's get into some of the more fun stuff. The eyeliners are great. I love them. Even though I don't use liquid eyeliner in the sense that most people use liquid eyeliner, but I used this purple pigment. You saw it on the other day all over my lid, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The green one is in my waterline today, and I've used the gray one the last look I created. So definitely a must. Okay, the lipsticks. So the packaging again on these is 10 out of 10. Now, the red is a really pretty red shade. The Calypso color is beautiful. This is Miss Argentina, which is what is on my lips now. It's a really true orangey red. And then last but not least is Ghost with the Most. Now, I love the shade of Ghost with the Most. I won't wear it very often because I don't wear an army green lipstick very often, but it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm happy to have it, and it is very unique to my collection. So again, if you're looking at picking one, pick off based off your personality. You know, if you're a nude girl and always wear nude lipsticks, I would probably recommend not picking one of these up. But they're $19, so it's not bad. Now, the Electric paints, these are unique, and I think that they're gorgeous on the lips. These I would recommend wholeheartedly. So the shade, what is this one? What is this? Weirder and Weirder. That deep purple black metallic, it's almost like a blackberry, is gorgeous. I've worn this one. It's Showtime color is stunning. So pretty. That's what that one looks like. I loved wearing this one. And I haven't worn this one yet, but I still love it. I think it's gorgeous. And that is the Strange and Unusual. That hot pink. So that's what it looks like. I think these are the most unique thing for me out of the collection because the formula is more of your traditional matte liquid lipstick, but whenever they dry down, they look like foil on your lips. Like they look like that lame fabric on your lips. And another thing about it is when they do wear away, they stain. So you're still left with, I mean, that's me wiping it down with a makeup wipe. It ain't going nowhere. They stain your lips, so you end up with pigment stain behind, so you still end up with some color. Now, the waiting room palette. This one retails for $58. It looks like this. It is gorgeous. I love this palette. This Juno shade really isn't my absolute favorite. Hold on. I got some color on my leg, but the Juno shade is not my favorite. It's not my favorite shimmer formula. And I wish they would have made a little bit more distinction, in my personal opinion, between like Obituary and No Exit and Tombstone and Shrunken Head. But all in all, I think the palette is gorgeous. It's just pricey. So if you're not wearing cool tones or red, then that's again up to you on whether you want it or not. Now, the Recently Deceased palette. This one retails for $48. This is my favorite palette out of the collection. Looks like this. The grungy greens are straight out of my heart. The purples performed beautifully. All the eyeshadows performed extremely well. This again is my favorite. So this is the standout, and then the electric paints, in my opinion, are the standouts from this collection. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when I post new videos, which is typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But we have been inundated by new makeup releases, so I have been posting a whole lot more. But I guess that's it. We'll see y'all later. Bye.